Good morning, everybody. I'd like to start with a question. Is it better to be a leader or to be a follower? Because in the world of marketing and branding, it seems to become almost glamorous to be a number 3, 4, or 5 brand in a market, to be the underdog, challenging the big bully boy leader in the centre of the market. A bit like the campaign that's now become quite famous for Avis. You know, it sort of makes a virtue out of coming second, right? You know, we're number 2, so we try harder. A bit like I think what seems to happen when I go and watch school sports days these days, right? You know, it's okay to come second, third, or fourth. It's all about joining in, you know? Doesn't matter about where you come in the race. But can it really be better to be smaller? And I'd like to explore that question with a bit of pub quiz trivia, right? Who was the running mate in the last presidential elections in the USA? Who got bronze in the Olympic 100 meters? And who was the 3rd man on the moon? Anyone know any of these answers? Anyone? Any of them? Joe Biden, excellent. Bronze medal in the Olympic 100 meters? Walter Dix. Anyone? No? No one heard of Walter Dix? 3rd man on the moon? Pete Conrad. So if you don't get anything else out of today, at least you'll have learnt some good pub quiz trivia, right? So if they ask you who the 3rd man on the moon is, then you'll actually know the answer to that question. Whereas I think we all know the leaders, right? We've all heard of Obama, we've all heard of Bolt, and we've all heard of Neil Armstrong. And while it might be fun and quite sexy to be a challenger brand, I'd like to suggest to you that it's actually better to be a leader. And if you look at the business data behind this, it tends to back it up. There's an extensive survey of about 3,000 different companies covering all different sectors that looked at the profitability, the ROI of different brands based on their relative market share. And when you look at that data, you see that leader brands have roughly twice the ROI of smaller brands. So if you're a leader brand with a big market share, you've got a 38% ROI. If you're a small brand with a small relative market share, you have only 20% ROI. So it would seem to suggest that certainly from a business standpoint, it's better to be a leader. And if we look at an example of that, let's look at the example of Nike, for example. We'll see that the benefit of being a leader brand is that you occupy the center ground of the market, okay? You are able to offer to consumers the best bundle of attributes, functional and emotional, so that the best meets their needs. You're the best choice in the market. Let's just look at a quick ad of Gillette that brings this to life.
You know the feeling. Every guy's had it. You're unbeatable, unstoppable. You got that walking on water feeling. You look, they smile. You win, they go home. Gillette. It's the feeling you get every day with the world's best shave. M3 Power. Every move is smooth. Every word is cool. I never want to lose that feeling. Gillette, the best a man can get.
So we've got a classic leader brand, Gillette, you know, in the shaving market. They have between a 75 and 80% share of the marketplace, and they sit right in the middle with that perfect bundle of both functional attributes. So, you know, if you're like the best shaver you can get, and emotional attributes, you know, be a champion man, be the best you can be. And leader brands have other benefits in addition to occupying the center ground. Clearly, you've got economies of scale. You know, you've got cost advantage, which is part of why the iPad is so successful. They're the biggest brand. They have economies of scale. They can drive down cost and offer not just a great product, but also a very competitive price. And I think a key other attribute that's perhaps overlooked of being a leader brand is being a magnet for talent. You know, people tend to want to work for winning organizations, for winning brands, not ones that are finishing 3rd or 4th in the marketplace.